Hi guys and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Sterling Eccles 560. These are basic walkthrough videos on how to set up and operate your caravan as if you were coming on or off site. So starting off at the front, you've got your black hitch head here and black lever that you have to have pulled up to then wind it down from the jockey wheel onto the tow ball. Once it's actually on, that black lever will snap back down, and expose a green ring. Got your handbrake just here, so you just push down or up to either disengage or engage, and then you have 13-pin electric. So if your car does have 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter. You may lose a couple of features such as fridge chilling. User test equipment today here, so I have a red propane gas bottle with an in-date gas hose connected. These black gas hoses run for 5 years, and that connects onto this regulator just onto it like that. Now you want both sides nice and firmly on. You don't want them, you want that side so you can't remove it, and then this side, hand tighten it as much as you can and then just nip it up a bit using a spanner. You don't want a ridiculous amount of pressure to be put on it because there is a washer inside and you don't want that washer to split. Once both sides are firmly connected, twist the gas bottle in the positive or open direction. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back, you have inserts for your legs. The caravan itself comes with a leg winder, or you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill just to make it that bit quicker. Do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan using your legs, they're simply used for stabilisation. First level using the jockey wheel, and then put down all 4 corner steadies. Coming round to the other side, starting off first, we have your flow. Your flow is used to get clean air in and out of your boiler when you're operating on gas. Don't have to do anything with this except make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. Then I've got an Eccles full of clean drinking water just here, and the water pump. So this is your water pump here. At the bottom you can see you have your strainer. Your strainer is what pulls through the water. The main thing for this though, it's crucial that it sits at the bottom of the barrel, as otherwise it's just going to draw air through, which can lead to coughs and splutters coming from your taps and just air being drawn through rather than water. So as you can see, they do have a little bit of a tendency to curl up. So my recommendation is to get something like PVC tubing or a bit of old hose pipe, put it around the bottom so it's always straight rather than having to straighten it out every time before use. Sometimes they do come in like that, in all fairness. Can we get inside the hole please? Then you've got this plastic cap to go over the top of the Eccles cap to make sure no nastiness gets in. Then to push it in, just like that, it's now engaged. To remove it, you have to press in the trigger and pull out. If I don't press in the trigger, it can't be removed. Just next to that, we have your battery locker. So this example does have a leisure battery fitted. And then just next to it, you have your plug-in for your mains lead just here. Just plugs in, nice and simple. There is also a little bit of a cutout, I'll probably mention, where you can lock up the battery locker as well. Motor mover, I'll go over on collection with. And then lastly, we have your toilet function. So just here, you have 2 inserts, and this is where your wastewater from both your shower and your sink is going to come from. You'll need some 28.5mm waste pipe to then feed into a waste master that you can empty out at the appropriate point on site. Then just here we have your cassette toilet. So to remove the cassette toilet once it's full, up on the handle and pull out just like so. Now you can also extend that handle up and out, which will essentially work similar to like a carry-on suitcase. Then once you're at your emptying point, twist this orange head to the side. You want to tilt, and at the same time as tilting, continually press in the vent button. Then, this is only a recommendation, open up these 2 points here, feed in some fresh water, give it a bit of a shake, and again tilt and vent. Then once you've done that, On this cap here, you have measurements in both imperial and metric, and that is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into that cap, twist back onto the side, just like so. Push it in so that that orange handle sits behind those white teeth. And just up here, you have your flush tank. This is for the toilet flush function. You will just need something like a watering can to feed the water into it because it's a little bit of an awkward spout. It can hold 12 litres of water, however I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want to overfill it. You can also add a little bit of pink chemical which works as a bleach without being corrosive and just makes the toilet smell a bit nicer. Now you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so just up here you've got a little bung, a little pipe with a bung on the end to drain off any water in that tank. The caravan will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Then underneath your right hand side seat you have all of this, so I wouldn't recommend storing anything under here. Under this compartment you have your boiler. If you ever need to do a reset on that, you can pull back the panel. Then you have your flow jet to essentially push the water through into the boiler. You have these blue leads leading to this yellow switch valve. That switch valve is your drain valve. So when it's horizontal as it is now, that is allowing water to come through. When it's vertical, that will drain off any water that is inside the system. When you leave with the caravan, it will be in the upright position. So just switch it over when you do come to use it. November to March, have that up permanently unless you're actively using the caravan, as any water inside the system can potentially freeze over and burst the pipes. This blue box here is essentially your brain box for your motor mover. Again, if you ever need to do a reset on that. This silver box is your battery charger. And then on the top, you have your trips and fuses. All your trips in the upright position and all your fuses in the appropriate position as well. I would always recommend carrying some extra fuses. Then you have heating and hot water and charger, both illuminated, showing that they're both working. Then a reverse polarity button for that function, and then a complete system shutdown button just here. Press that in, nothing inside the caravan is able to operate, and it's essentially the kill switch. Now if you do need a little bit more information on your trips and fuses, you can pull down this panel just here and it gives you a little bit of info on that sticker. Then just here we have your main control panel. So turn it on, use that power button just there. I've just turned it off, but as you can see, flashes back on and has this blue backlight. I can then circle through, showing right now that 13.7 or 8 volts is coming into the caravan through mains. Now when you are just plugged in with your battery, you can be able to see the amount of power coming from just that. But as you can see, I can circle through and I've got a couple of different options here. As you can see, they're all very self-explanatory in all fairness. Then we have your lighting. So you've got lighting for both the front of the caravan and the back of the caravan as well. I'll just open up the door. You can see there you've got your lighting for your back. And then you've got your awning light just here, so press that in, go to the outside, and as you can see, awning light is on. Then just here we have your pump button. So press that in, you can see a blue light comes on to show that it's active, and essentially what you have to do is wait about 2 to 3 minutes to allow the water to circulate through if you haven't used it in a bit of time, and then come over to your taps and open them up on both hot and cold. Now, dependent on what you need to do, some people will need to use all the taps, some people will only have to use a select amount of taps. Just run it from each of them to make sure that they're all working. However, because we're just waiting for that circulating through, I'll show you the outer panel. So this is for your heating and hot water. So you turn the panel on with this button just here, and as you can see, it tells you the internal temperature, which is 21 degrees. Press menu, and you come to this screen here. So first up, you've got the thermometer inside the house. That is for the internal temperature of the caravan that you desire. So goes up and down using 0.5 and goes all the way up to 30. You can also just press and hold it like that as well. And whatever you set it to, it will get to that temperature. It usually does take around about an hour for that to be done. Then you have your shower icon here. So this is for your hot water. So when the bar is empty like this, there's no hot water inside the caravan. When it's midway, that will get the water temperature to around about 40 or 50 degrees and keep it at that point. However, if you have it on full, what full does, it prioritizes the water heat over the heating of the actual caravan for around about an hour or so. Sorry, half an hour even, and then it will drop it back down to that point. When it's on full, that gets the water temperature to around about 60 to 70. Then we have your energy source. So you've either got the choice of mains or gas. So I can have 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts of mains capacity. Now do be aware that some sites do not have 3 kilowatt capacity. Or I can have strictly gas if I was off grid, or a mixture of gas in 1, 2 and 3. It's dependent on your situation and what you're needed to do. So quick summary: internal temperature, water temperature, energy sources, and then just here you have a couple of additional settings. Please have a look inside your book packs with regards to this, because we have set this panel to essentially the easiest interface that we could use. Then to turn it off, press that button in there. There is no longer any heating inside the van unless that panel is on. However, let's go back to this because it's been about 2 minutes. Come to your taps, open up on both cold and hot, and what you're looking for is essentially that nice steady continuous stream. If there's any coughs or splutters, go outside, check and ensure that your water pump is sat at the bottom of the barrel and that there's no kinks inside it. Also double check to make sure that your drain valve is in the correct position. What you wanted to do is let it run for about 30 seconds on both hot and cold. So just keep on going for a little bit of time. This is going to drain out of your 2 points on the outside, which I showed you, that you can then feed into your waste master. So as you can see, it doesn't take very long at all, and it will just gradually take its time. So that's around about 30 seconds. And then you just have to use as well your other taps if you want, if you're wanting to use them. So quick summary with this: awning light, back of the caravan, front of the caravan's light, and then water pump. Then just here we have your hob, grill and oven. So all of this operates off gas minus the electric plate. For the electric plate, just spin it to whatever mark you want and it will get to temperature. Everything else, it's a case you have to press in on the dial, twist it to the side, and then press in on the igniter button. Now, when you do come to first use it, it may be a case that it will turn on and then flash itself off. That's pretty standard. That's just the gas making its way through to the system. Once it does turn itself back on, the gas will be continuous. So this is what it looks like when they're all lit. As you can see, you've got nice blue clean continuous flames. Turn it off, back to the central position. I would also recommend as well, before you try and use any other utilities on gas, check through the hob and make sure that that is all working. Then the same for the grill. There you can see the grill all nice and lit on both sides as well. Whoops. And then lastly, your oven. And there you can see your oven all nice and lit as well. Only other real thing to note, you don't want to travel with your gas on, so make sure you switch off the bottle every time that you're finished. You can travel with the gas hose in, just not with the bottle on. And then you have to travel with this glass sheet down, as otherwise it's just going to smack down and smash. But don't put it down until all of these burners are cold to the touch. Then just here we have your fridge operation. So to turn on your fridge, press and hold on this button here. And there you can see, and it will flash up and go to its last memory, which in this case was gas on full capacity. Now for gas, oh, jump scare, you can hear that it gradually begins to tick in. Then once it's finished ticking, that means it's then lit. Anytime the fridge is on, there's also a blue light. Now, I've got 3 different choices for source. I've got gas, I've got mains. Now, switch over to mains, press in once, press in again. You can see the blue LED is there. Now that is just running on mains. And then I have 13-pin electric. So when I'm plugged into my car, a lot of people make the mistake thinking that is the leisure battery. It is not. It is for when you're traveling in your car. If I were to press it in now, you can see it begins to flash up and beep at me, telling me that something is wrong. So if there is a hazard, it will flash up and beep. Then I have the amount of power coming into the fridge itself, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. 5 being the most powerful, so it's going to chill it the quickest, but suck through the most amount of power. Now it does take around 4 hours for the fridge to fully chill. Then to turn this off, press and hold. You can see no more LED. Then lastly, we have your toilet operation, which you might say is bog simple. Lift this cap up. You have this button here, which is your flush button. Press that in, and you can hear that motor. That motor is what will push around any water inside the flush tank system. Then to remove the waste from the bowl, push away on that handle, opens up the catch, and then pull it back towards you, as it has to be pulled back to be able to remove the cassette toilet. When the cassette is full, there'll be a red icon come on underneath there, telling you to go and empty it.